Welcome to Aligned and Soulful Leadership. My name is Kavita Milwani, and I empower soulful, multicultural women of color to opulently shine their light without the hustle. I truly believe you can fulfill your soul's desire without losing yourself, your health, or your life in the process. I know that you can ignite your confidence and know your worth, all while walking your divine, unique path. So in this podcast, I will dive deep into topics, challenges, and blocks that women of color experience as they rise up into their aligned life and work. My deep desire is that BIPOC women can lead through their inner wisdom in a way that honors their soul. Are you ready to rise up as the leader you were born to be? Then this podcast is for you. Hello, this is Kavita Milwani with Aligned and Soulful, and today I want to talk to you about the energy of money and why it's important to understand the energy of money. And this is actually going to be part of a series that I'm planning to do over the next few weeks. And the reason I'm wanting to talk about this topic is because I have seen the challenges that happen for a lot of my clients because of their money mindset, okay? I wanted to bring to you the wisdom that I have gained over the years through all the programs I've taken, books I've read, and I'm hoping to bring it to you in a way that you can actually take action and move forward and apply it to your life. Again, my name is Kavita with the Enlightened Heart, and what I do is I coach high-achieving women of color to lead through their inner wisdom, okay? And so money is an interesting thing because it is something that we're often taught that we are not supposed to talk about, right? We don't talk about money. We don't ask people how much they make. You know, it's kind of like a interesting conversation topic if you're at a social gathering. It's not something that you generally bring up, and people that bring it up, it's kind of seen as, not classy, right? And so I'm bringing this forward because I'm hoping to help be part of the overall conversation to change this. Now, my goal is not to bring it in a way that's like, your entire life focuses on money and creating money, but really that higher level of the purpose of it, the energy behind it, and why it is a good tool for you, right? And seeing it as a tool and not a way that it's a way to manipulate or have power over the others. It is really a tool that I truly believe that a lot more women need to have in their hands because we can create the change in the world that needs to happen. And especially spiritually minded women of color, there's been so much energy and time and things to overcome. And there's the cultural beliefs of what is okay for us to do and accomplish. And so it's time. It's time for us to step into our power. It's time for us to be able to contribute in a way where we're no longer hiding and we're fully present. And money is a tool to help us do that. And that is why I am talking about it and why it's important. I would say that's the first reason why it's important to understand the energy of money. Okay. Let me give you an example of a client because we learn through stories. Okay? And I want to tell you a story about one of my clients and how the money mindset, she didn't realize how much it was impacting her. So in her family of origin, they did not want to talk about money. And it was implied that people that did well financially were better somehow, were smarter somehow, or, in some ways deserved better things. And then on the flip side of that, it was obvious jealousy that was not said in the household. Like they didn't say, oh, that person, we're so jealous of them. We can sense those things. We can feel that as we're growing up, what those beliefs are in our home, right? And so for this client, the belief was tied to the fact that money was power. And so in her family, the mother was a stay-at-home mom. And the father was the one out in the world earning the money. And oftentimes, when the mother wanted something, she had to use manipulation or convincing or anything that a person that would have less power would use in order to get what she wanted. So that was in her family structure. And then when they went outside the family, it became clear that those people outside the family that had more wealth than they did, that had, that abundance, those people did it in a way that wasn't honest. Those people, they must have manipulated. Who do they know? Right? Like all these things that made it seem like that person didn't get that way easily or in an honest way. And so they also felt that that belief and the energy for money for them was that if you have a lot of money, then you're not honest, that you're not a person of integrity. And to this particular client, being of integrity was important. And then further for her is in her teens, her mother was divorced from her father, and there was a money struggle happening. And so her mother lost the power in the relationship because something happened and she did not get the money, right? She did not get money so that she supported. And so she was struggling. Then the message she gave her daughter was that you need to make sure that you can at least take care of yourself, right? And so then money became another layer, right? The energy behind it. So when she would spend money, there was fear around spending the money. While she was working in her career, she felt like this constant, it was underlying, right? It wasn't on the surface. So she didn't realize how this unconscious belief was impacting her. But underneath, she always had this fear that the money would be taken away from her and that her job was her power because that's what she experienced, right? And so as we were working together for her to uncover these beliefs, then we can start to step into them, and then we can start to work behind them, and then we work on those unconscious things that are impacting us every day, because our unconscious beliefs impact, depends who you ask, but 80 to 90% of our behavior every single day. Energy of money is based on your beliefs that you absorbed and experienced. So you might have experienced it by what your family of origin said, but it was also your personal experience of that and how your family felt around the money. That is impacting you on how you show up in your life. Okay. There are 3 things to look at. So you can go deeper into this, and I'm going to share those 3 things. I'm going to give you some questions, and then I'd love to hear from you and what came up for you. Okay. So the first thing is, how can you work with this energy? How can you work with that abundance, money energy? Start first to pay attention to your words. What are the words that you say? What do you tell people about money? What are the things that you say to people? If you have a family, what do you say to them? If you have a partner or a spouse, what do you say to them? If you have children, what do you say to them? What do you talk? What do you say about spending? What do you say about investing? What do you say about saving? When you go shopping, what is it that you say about that when you're shopping? So start to pay attention to it. And if you take anything from today, just bringing those words that you're saying to light and then shifting what you're saying around it is going to have an impact on how money shows up in your life. Okay. So start by paying attention to the words that you're saying about money. Okay. So, one of the ways that you could do this is you could spend the next couple weeks or 3 weeks or however long you want. And at the end of the day, write down things you said about money. You can use the notes app on your phone or a little notebook and write down the things that come up for you around money, things that you've said to people. Okay. And so it can really be enlightening to do this process. Okay. The second thing is your thoughts about money. Okay. When around those same things, when you're spending, when you're saving, and when you're investing, and even your thoughts about others who have and spend and save. Okay. What are your thoughts about money on a regular basis? So when you go online. A lot of us shop online now, and you're purchasing something. What are you thinking? Especially for, let's say, a higher priced item. Now, what's a higher priced item? That depends on you. That could be different for everybody else. But what are you thinking when you are spending that money? Okay, what are the thoughts that happen when, it's an example that's used often is to go to a coffee shop and buy, like, I think, a latte or a cappuccino, whatever it is that you like. And, the idea that you're wasting the money, if you added up all that you spent on coffee or tea or whatever you drank over the year, you'd have this much money to invest, right? And so then when you're going to spend, what are the thoughts that you have even over those simple expenditures? Okay, what are the thoughts that you have when you have to pay your bills? What are the thoughts when you decide to invest in something? Whether that is whatever, there's so many opportunities to invest, right? So I'm not an investing expert. I'm not pretending to be an investing expert. But, if you work with someone that is, when they make recommendations to you, what are you thinking? And then when you're actually taking the money and putting it into the investment, right? Like if you have to actually physically write a check, sometimes you still have to do that, do an online transfer, that what are you thinking through that process? Okay. So that's an important thing to look at. And the third thing to look at is your perception of others. So think about the immediate people in your life. I mean, if it's easier, think about the last month, 2 weeks, and the people that you've maybe spoken to, texted, met with. What are some things that you remember that you thought about those people? And what are some things that you remember specifically around what your perceived experience is of their experience with money? Okay, so I don't know if I said that exactly correct, but what you perceive their experience to be around money would be a better way to say it, right? Because what you perceive it to be is probably not what it is for them, right? But what's important is what you perceive it to be. Think about one person that really comes up that kind of touches, right? That kind of maybe even triggers you a little bit. And what is it that you think about that person? What is it that you think about that person and their experience about money? And what does that bring up with you about them personally? So take a moment now. I would invite you to even write down some things that have come to you right now that as I've been talking, right? Write down what are the thoughts? What do you think about money? What do you say about money? And what do you think of others? What's your perception of others? Right. And so, really paying attention when you're paying those bills, when you spend money and you invest. And then also, even when you hear about the success of others, right? In that third category of others, when you hear about someone succeeding in something, especially maybe even in something that you're doing, what are your thoughts about that? What comes up for you around that? And so start to pay attention. Now, paying attention to that and writing it down and tracking it, that's the starting point. Okay. That's not going to completely change everything. And we have the expectation that we want to change everything yesterday, or like in 2 months or 3 months or whatever. And it may take a little longer than that. If you've had a lifetime of changing, it may take less. I don't really know how long it will take you. We're all at different phases, right? And so, and whatever that experience is that even your soul may want to. So why does this all matter? Okay, our thoughts, our feelings, our words are all energy. That is the energy that you're putting forth when the word money comes up, when you're using money, when you're perceiving the money around you. Okay, that is the energy of money that you're putting out is also what you're going to receive. Okay, that is why it is so important for you to take a look at this, for you to look at this as a starting point to work on this and to really be honest with yourself. Because if you're not, then you can work on it on the surface if you want. You can say mantras, which I love, right? You can do all those things. And if it's not working the way that you'd like, it's probably at a deeper level. The impact that your belief system has had on you, your childhood has had on you, has impacted you at a much deeper level than the external. It is our unconscious that's impacting, our unconscious reactions. And so when you're consciously responding versus just reacting, that makes a huge difference. Okay. So, in order to help you with this process, I love to do visualizations, and I'm going to lead you through a visualization to really check in with yourself on what is the energy of money for you. And again, if you're not sure, this will help you uncover some of it. You can look at your thoughts, words, your perception of others. Actually, even look at how it's showing up for you right now. Because if you're not sure, look at how money's showing up. That's telling you what you believe. That is telling you, that is the evidence right there. Okay, so now taking a moment. And if you're in a place that you can do this, great. If not, I'd love for you to come back and do it. So take a moment and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. So inhaling in and exhaling out, and taking those breaths. And with each breath, feeling yourself more calm, more present, and open. And as you're hearing the sound of my voice, trusting the process that you will receive what you're meant to receive. And now imagining one more breath going over the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, you're releasing anything stuck there. Okay, good. Now, I want you to take a moment and go into your heart center. In your heart center, and then go into your power center and breathe into those areas, which is 2 inches above your belly button. And bring up the first thing that comes up when I say, what does a woman that makes a good income, that makes what you would consider a lot of money, what does she look like? And this may be an actual person that you know in your life, or it could just be a perception. So just bring up this image. And as you bring up this image, what are you feeling about this person? What are your thoughts about this person? And taking a moment and listening. And as you have those thoughts of this person, how do you see yourself in comparison to this person that you brought up in front of you? Are you like them? Are you different from them? Are they so far from you? And allowing the truth of whatever those thoughts are without judgment to come through. And then thanking that presence, if it's an actual spirit of a person or just an image of someone, and thanking that, thanking your heart and your power for showing you that, your higher self. And now asking your higher self, asking your heart, what is it? What is one thing, one step that I can take to be closer to that, my perception of what a person is that is able to earn a lot of money. And doesn't mean that you have to be everything that you perceive about that person. You can create your own version of that. So what is that? What wisdom comes to you now? And if it doesn't now, it may not. Trust that it'll come to you at the right time. And so thanking that part of yourself for bringing forth the wisdom. Good. And now taking a couple more breaths. And when you're feeling ready, coming back and opening your eyes. Good. So I'd love for you to do that visualization if you weren't able to do that right now, and write down what came to you, what comes to you, and actually take that step that your higher self has given you as guidance. Take that step to move towards your version of that wealthy woman, the woman that earns the amount that you think is abundant, that you feel is abundant. I do have another free abundance meditation that's available on my website, and I'll put the link here so you can download that. If the story of my client, if anything of that resonated, if you want to work through some of these money blocks in your life, I am happy to speak with you. Will also have a link for you to book a free 30-minute clarity session. And my work is not just focused on money, although there's nothing wrong if someone does that, right? But I really work with people on a holistic level, intuitive. There's a lot of spirituality in how I work with people. And so we work in a way that is looking at your whole self and your whole life. Okay. And so we can look at starting with the money, starting with the career. That's usually just one part. There's usually impact on other areas as well. Okay. So we start where what you need support with. And my work in the world is meant to support you in making lasting changes. So my name is Kavita Melwani with Aligned and Soulful, and I am looking forward to coming to you in a couple more weeks with more work on money. And so if you want to find out when that will be, if you join my newsletter, you will be able to receive notification or follow me here. And until next time, take good care. Bye. Thank you for joining me for Aligned and Soulful Leadership. I was inspired to start this podcast as a way to empower women of color to rise up into their aligned leadership. Remember, I will have all the resources I mentioned during this episode available in the show notes at alignedandsoulfulpodcast.com. I'm your host, Kavita, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell your friends. And if you haven't received my free abundance meditation and exercise, then go to alignedandsoulfulleadership.com and subscribe to my newsletter, and you will receive this powerful visualization and exercise to ignite your abundant life. Thank you. Until next time, take good care. Bye.